the way things are in the country at the moment, do you for a moment think that, well, maybe Nigeria deserves what they get based on what they put in? Or what exactly comes to your mind when you have a review of the 2023 election, especially with your own political stance?
Well, welcome back again to my channel. So, that question that was asked, if Nigerians deserve what we are going through, I think the answer for me would be no, because this was not what Nigerians wanted or went for. Because it was so obvious that almost half our Nigerian population voted for Labour Party. It's not hidden that almost all Nigerians, in fact, voted for Labour Party, except few persons that were bribed or that stood for APC because he's their brother or because of some tribalism issue, anything like that. Because some say that over that dead body, would they allow an Igbo man to rule Nigeria? That was what some persons said. And those same persons came out this year and last year and was crying that let everybody come out, this election and remove APC from office. But that was a mistake. And I think those persons are the ones that are meant to face what they are causing in this country. Because imagine when the whole Nigerians, most students that had no PVC came back to have PVC. Most people that traveled back home. Some persons were paid, some persons paid people transport to go back to their home to vote for this election. And this is the only election I can say that's poor crowd in the history of Nigeria. And then what happened? The people that was in charge did their own thing, and then everything was not around, and then they gave out the winner of the election. So I don't think Nigeria should suffer these things now we are going through, because it's not everybody that voted for that APC or that worked their way to make APC to win the election. I don't think it's everybody. So Nigeria should not suffer the consequences. So I'd like us to hear the video and how this man answered the question that was asked, because his name is actually DK Chukwumarije. So how he answered the questions, I'd love you guys to hear everything he said, and then let me know your points or your views in the comment section. I'll be to you guys in a minute to watch this video.
I just feel we missed an opportunity. So that hurts. I think we're so close to going in a different direction. So just thinking back to how close we came to just taking a different decision as a country, as a people, it always hurts. I don't really think, Nigerians deserve it, because the majority of people were not involved in that decision. I believe the presidential election was won with like 6 million or something. And close to 100 million people were registered voters. So I think that there is a huge electorate out there that are not happy with what happened. That the majority of people, this is not their decision. This is not a reflection of what they think Nigeria is and direction Nigeria should be going into. I think that we are trapped in the vision of a minority, and really the task is how the majority can properly organize. I don't think that Nigeria as it is today is a reflection of majority decision about what Nigeria is and where Nigeria should be going. So I don't think Nigerians deserve it. I empathize with Nigerians because I feel there are lots of people like me who wanted different and tried different, and we didn't use violence. We used our words. We tried to persuade. We tried to talk. We tried to warn. And things just didn't pan out the way we wanted. And now we're all suffering it. If there was a way to separate the people who wanted this from people who didn't and let the people that wanted it suffer, we'll be very happy to separate. But there's no way we're all in it together. So I don't feel Nigerians deserve it. I just feel like most of us, this is unfortunate. And we're having to suffer the consequences that we foresaw. Like, this is going to happen. With this kind of political culture of patronage, scratch my back, there's never going to be enough money to tackle our issues. When you're out of every 1 naira, you're using 80 kobo to service political structure. What money is left for education, for health? Even if the government is saving money, does it have enough integrity to use the money it saves on the people as opposed to its own comfort? These are all cultural issues. It doesn't matter what policy you are implementing, but your political culture is going to undermine the efficacy of whatever policy you're implementing. So my brother Shewa, I just feel sad because we came close.
When you say we came close, what was the path that you think Nigeria missed?
I think that we should have voted for Peter Obi just because he has less political baggage. I believe that it will have had better results in terms of using public resources honestly, transparently. If we are going to suffer, let it be that all of us are suffering. Not that some people are still flying private jets, driving convoys, eating large, and then it's the people that are being squeezed. Ordinary people are being squeezed while the government is living large. At least we'd have had a government where if there is not enough, we would have seen that there is not enough. Presidents don't reduce in convoy. He's not flying private jets anymore. We'll see that, look, Nigeria is in a tough place. Because Nigeria is in a tough place. But the problem is that the sacrifice is all on the people, while those in office are not making any sacrifices. If you ask, okay, how has the government cut down? They say, oh, we reduce the number of people that travel abroad. Is that cutting down? People can't afford food. They can't afford medicine. You're talking about reducing the number of people traveling abroad. So I think that we missed an opportunity to vote someone who would have used public resources in a more transparent and honest manner. That's the opportunity I think Nigerians miss.
I imagine that for a lot of people who thought Peter Obi was the standard, was amongst his opponents on those who are on the ballot. He fits the bill, and those perhaps who have framed him in their minds, seeing him in that in the presidential villa, controlling the affairs of the country, and you probably are one of them. I know that you imagine things a lot, and you have a graphic mind because you have a creative and literary mind, and I'm imagining that. When that didn't happen, how much of a disappointment was that for you?
It was. I was deeply disappointed. I put my whole heart and my whole soul into it, and in all sincerity, not because I'm not a card-carrying member of the Labour Party. I'm not even what you would call an obedient. I was just a Nigerian who looked at the options on the table and thought, look, this person is the best person. And I put everything I had into it. So obviously, whenever you struggle really hard for something and you don't achieve it, you feel disappointed. But then that's why we all need to be resilient. Social struggle is I always say it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So you have to be ready. I always give the example, in the US in 1897, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, ruled that discrimination and racism was constitutional. Imagine, no courts to appeal to beyond that. But African Americans kept struggling, and 50 years later, they were able to reverse that decision. But it took 50 years of struggle. The struggle against apartheid, when the ANC was formed, took about 80 years before Mandela became president. Social struggle takes time. And if you know this, then you know that, okay, we've lost this battle, but we've not lost the war. We have to keep struggling. I have children, 4. So I'm not even fighting for myself. I'm fighting for them and their own children coming. Because in the end, we don't have any other place. Everybody may be happy now. You can travel to the UK, you can travel to America. But one day or any day, those countries can become hostile to immigrants or to people that are not from there. And ask you to go back to your own, it can happen. It's not impossible. The world can suddenly become a hostile place for immigrants. And that's when you realize that really you just have one place where you come from. So you have to make sure that your corner of the earth, last, you can always go back home. And that's why we're fighting for Nigeria to be a more hospitable place. And honestly, Sheung, if we had other options, let's say Oshibanjo had been on the ballot, it would have been a different scenario, because then you're literally comparing like with like. The permutations are different. But when you look at an option where on one hand you don't know how the person makes their money, you don't know what primary school they went to, or second, everything about them is a mystery. On the other hand, you have someone that is very clear. For me, the choice was a no-brainer.
But if Oshibajo was, for example, on the ballot, maybe APC or something, maybe you will have a divided.
I'll have been put in a corner. That's the time. Well, maybe I'll admit that, okay, I'm going to vote Peter Obi because he's Igbo like me. because when they are both equal,
Yeah.
then other considerations can come into play. So that you might say, okay, this one is from my side, I'll vote this one. But you can't, when there is a clear disparity in competence, then you always have to put competence.
That justice, like as a question, they always say that aside from corruption, that most Nigerian leaders are not worthy to be on that seat, to be called a politician or anything, because they don't fit to be in that quality of being a leader, because they don't have any quality of being a leader. And it's very simple as that. They don't have that quality that it takes for one to be a leader. So yeah, apart from corruption, most of our leaders in Nigeria wouldn't have even been in that position. And then she said people like the Senate president, because Ababio, that he is not even fit to be a senator, talk more of being a Senate president. So she blasted almost all the senators that they are not even fit to be a leader or fit to be called a leader, because they don't have those qualities that we need. Some qualities like transparency, accountability, integrity, saying the truth, and being accountable for your words. They don't have it. They can say a thing tomorrow, next tomorrow they are changing their words. That means they are not transparent and not accountable. So like I said earlier, the video you've watched now in the comment section. I'll be with you guys in a minute. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned, guys.